Does anybody want breakfast? Guys, let's go. I'm leaving for McDonald's in 5 seconds.
Why did you start with that?
The Breakfast Stampede Meal. It's only at McDonald's, where there's a meal for every morning.
And nothing says morning like a classic sausage McMuffin with egg. Right now, get this all-time favorite for just $2 on the $1, $2, $3 menu. Price and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Hi, this is Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter, and welcome to No BS Job Search Advice Radio. For thousands of years, men and women have gathered outside of huts in small village around a fire, and they've asked themselves a question: functional or chronological resumes? Which one should I use? Well, today I want to put mankind's misery to rest and once and for all answer this question, whether it should be a functional resume or a chronological. And joking aside, I hope you enjoyed today's show, and if you do, give it 5 stars in iTunes or Stitcher or TuneIn, whichever site you happen to use for your podcast downloads. It helps other people discover the show, and it helps with rankings. And by the way, why don't you also come over to JobSearch.Coaching.HQ.com and join. It has great information that's going to help you with your job search. So with that, let's get rolling. Let's talk about functional resumes. I am not a fan of functional resumes. Did I mention I'm not a fan of functional resumes? Here's the problem with functional resumes. They suggest that you're hiding something. They're suggesting that the relevant experience that's causing you to apply for this role is old. They're suggesting that you're hiding large gaps in your resume or in your employment history. And thus, even if you have the relevant experience, I'm not going to call you. At best, I'm going to send an email to you that says, please send me a chronological resume. Why is that? Because time is precious. And you are obviously trying to hide something. You are obviously trying to hide gaps or that the information was old. Why else would you send a functional resume? Because you did this work last week? Of course not. But the fact remains, people use functional resumes regardless. The only time a functional resume makes sense is if you are changing careers and you're leading off with training that you have that's relevant to your new role. Then I can see functional resumes working. But beyond that, all you're doing is obscuring certain information that we need to know anyway. And if you think employers are any different, by the way, you're kidding yourself. They aren't. If anything, they won't even stop and ask. They're just going to hit the delete key. I can't tell you. Let me tell you. I've been involved in the CFO search recently, and I get lots of functional resumes for this search. I respond back to those that vaguely demonstrate relevant experience to send me a chronological resume. Every single time, the experience has been years old and irrelevant to my client because what you've been doing most recently is most pertinent to what matters to them. And if you've been away from the CFO function for a number of years because you've been running a business and now it's going out and now you have to go back to a CFO role, they're not going to bring you on board. So I'll just simply say, ditch the functional resume. You're not kidding anyone. All that you're doing is wasting your time and other people's times. And, just don't bother. So that's today's show. I hope you found it helpful. And if you did, again, please give the show 5 stars in iTunes or Stitcher. It helps other people discover the show. It helps with rankings. And I also want to remind you, come join me at JobSearch.Coaching.HQ.com. That's my site with the best of my information curated, plus the ability to ask me questions so that you don't make dumb mistakes in your job search that prove so costly. Now, I'll be back tomorrow with more. Hope you have a great day. Take care.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year, automatically, dollar for dollar, with no limit on how much you can earn. Extra cash? Come on, how amazing is that? In fact, it's even more amazing when you realize all the places where Discover is accepted. 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. So when it comes to Discover, get used to hearing yes more often. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2020 Nielsen Report limitations apply.